Hello and welcome to Canon City Comic Club, a weekly examination of the most memorable storylines in comic books. I'm your host, Tristan Cooper, and I didn't believe climate change was real until Dr. Octopus told me so. Also here today, Andrew Bridgman. Hello.
Hi, Tristan. I punched Al Gore in the face, thinking he was a secret doppelganger, but it turns out it was just Al Gore.
Wow.
And this is my punishment.
I can't... Oh, okay. That lines up.
Being here is my
Okay.
punishment.
I had a lot of questions, and they were all answered right away. Carolyn Page also here. Hello.
Hello, I motorboated Black Widow.
Okay. I thought... I don't have any follow-up questions. That's... okay, great. We are reading, we all read Spider-Man Ends of the Earth by Dan Slott, Stefano Caselli, and Humberto Ramos are the main players in the book. There's
also Spider-Man.
Also Spider-Man's there. Dr. Octopus is there. Chameleon's there. Mysterio is in the mix as well.
Silver Sable. Yeah, and Mysterio. Yeah.
Rhino. There's a Sinister Six. There's the Avengers. This is a jam-packed book. All about, Dr. Octopus kind of like pretending that he's going to save the world, but not really. It seems like one of those situations where the general populace of the world believes yet again that a supervillain has turned a new leaf. It's going to help everyone, and everyone gets on board. But it turns out they're actually a supervillain like they were all along. Andrew, we wanted to do a Spider-Man story around the time of Spider-Man Far From Home. And Andrew is our resident web head, as it were, and so we asked him, like, what should we read, and you came up with this. Why did you? What made you pick this?
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, like, we cover the most memorable storylines in comics, and I would not say Ends of the Earth is necessarily that memorable, but it felt appropriate because it's a Spider-Man story that heavily involves the Avengers. So it ties in with Endgame a little bit. Not a lot of Spider-Man stories do. It's a kind of globe-trotting Spider-Man story to tie into Far From Home. Very few Spider-Man stories leave New York.
Sure.
I mean, why would you? We got everything.
We got all the best pizza. Hey. You're going to get good pizza in Simcaria? I don't think so.
No. Wow.
And then, Mysterio has a pretty big role in it, and it's like a little bit more of a modern-day Spider-Man. It's from the last 10 years, and Mysterio really hasn't had that many big storylines that I can think of, other than, like, Old Man Logan, kind of.
With Spider-Man.
I mean, recently, at least.
Right. I mean, there's that big reveal with the Daredevil and stuff like that. I think Kevin Smith did that. But we're talking Spider-Man right now.
Yeah. And he's always like a bit player a lot of the time.
I mean, he's kind of a bit player here as well, I think.
Yeah.
But he's got a sweet costume.
Good costume. No cape. Interesting look. No cape. You know?
I liked it. It's sleek.
It is very sleek.
It looks like you could just shoot into a hole or something.
Yeah. That head is too big, though, I think. That's going to be an issue.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
I don't care about Mysterio's face.
No. If he doesn't have a face, I'm fine with it.
If he just, like, what's under the bulb? It's like a regular, like, white dude.
It's another bulb.
Oh, okay.
It's a smaller bulb.
Wow, that's a backup bulb.
Also filled with smoke.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Maybe glitter in the second one. So, like, if they
Ooh.
brick the second one, glitter gets everywhere, and you're just like,
The other nice...
And then there's a snowman in the smaller one, and the one under that.
We're only going to talk about Mysterio's head for the rest of this episode.
Yep.
Part of the nice thing about this storyline is it was kind of billed as, like, the last desperate attempt of Dr. Octopus to do anything. He's dying. They revealed Doc Ock was dying in, I think it was issue 600.
Whoa, we're getting to the
all right.
continuity catch up before we officially start.
Never
continuity catch up. How dare you? Let's start it now. How about that?
Let's do the continuity
catch
catch up.
Continuity mustard.
I
want to say that every week, and it's so unsatisfying now that I've said it.
So usually we like to give some background and context for this, but, like, you don't need to know Spider-Man's origin story again. Like, his parents were killed on an exploding planet when a radioactive spider blew it up. He was sent to Earth. That kind of thing.
The planet was walking down Crime Alley.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it was shot by the spider.
Yeah.
Right after they saw an opera about spiders.
Yeah.
That all makes sense. And then it's...
And then he was taken into the Weapon X project. and given adamantium spiders.
Spilled gamma all over him.
And he fell into a cave full of spiders.
And then the Sorcerer Supreme gave him the spider gem.
Right?
Yes.
Exactly. And then he said, I shall become Green Lantern.
Yes. And that's how Spider-Man started.
That's how Spider-Man started. Dr. Octopus has been around almost as long as Spider-Man himself, debuting in Amazing Spider-Man #3.
Yeah.
And so he's been around for so long, and I kind of appreciate like the weight that his character is given throughout the years. Like this is a prelude to Superior Spider-Man, in which Doc Ock takes over Spider-Man's body. It's something I've thought about we should do, but it's like such an extended, like prolonged, like story arc, and I wanted to like have some time to do it justice. We might revisit it at some point. But as Andrew was alluding to, jumping the gun over here.
I'm sorry.
In these issues that we're reading right now cover Spider-Man like in the 680s range.
It's right approaching 700.
Right. And Doc Ock was revealed to be dying in issue 600. So it's been like a long setup. Like Dan Slott has been like doing this for like quite a while. He wrote hundreds of issues of Spider-Man.
Yeah, he wrote on it for 10 years, like over 200 issues.
Yeah, it's pretty wild stuff. So like we're at the point where Doc Ock is like decrepit in like almost like a like metal cocoon.
Yeah, he's in like an iron lung kind of
with
deal.
Legs and arms, I guess.
Yeah.
Like which
looks
is
cool.
He looks so gross.
Yeah.
It's great.
He looks like the Mountain from.
Yeah, he looks like his flesh is kind of decaying and stuff.
Hot.
One thing, the reason why he's dying, you didn't go into that.
Right.
He just got punched too many times in the head by Spider-Man and Captain America, and it just like ruined his brain or something. And the doctor's like, "You've been punched in the head too many times. You're gonna die now."
Wow.
I was like, "Oh, okay."
That's how I want to go.
Yeah.
Just getting pummeled in the head by Spider-Man and
by
Captain
Tobey
America.
Maguire, just in real life.
Yeah.
I'd rather be punched and killed by Andrew Garfield personally, but that's just
No, I want him to stay
taste.
pure. I don't care about Tobey Maguire.
Okay, that's fair. So this story begins with another evil plot by Doc Ock.
Or is it?
In the issues beforehand, well, I mean, okay, yes, it is evil because it starts with Doc Ock like frying the world, speeding up
for like a second.
For like a second, but we see like people on the ground.
Wait,
birds
are we in the
dead.
book breakdown now?
We're in the. Oh my god!
Did we announce that?
I ruined
we
it.
should.
I'm gonna keep this one on track.
Keeping a tight
like
ship, and I appreciate
mustard.
that. We're into the
More
meat
like
of
the book
the story
mustard.
now. The book breakdown.
Mustard.
Should we
Mustard.
talk about like
Book
what
mustard.
Spider-Man's status quo is at this point? Because
Yeah.
he's got a new status quo.
No,
He's always got new status quo.
Tell me all about it.
Spider-Man over the years had a lot of jobs. He's been a Daily Bugle reporter, a cameraman.
He's a real Renaissance man.
He does it all. He recently was running a multinational corporation until it fell apart, and now he's like crashing on Boomerang's couch. It's great.
He's got a lot of rich friends. I feel like he could just like stay in like a spare apartment or something like
Yeah.
that.
He could stay in Avengers Mansion.
Yeah.
Like he's an Avenger, and they have a mansion in Manhattan, like down the street from where he lives.
That's a good point. I'm gonna guess they have an extra bed that
They have a butler. Like, just go there. Anyways.
We have a butler and a guest room. You can stay with us, Spider-Man. That's how the Avengers talk.
Yeah, they all have that fancy
I'm
lad
Iron
accent.
Man.
That's Hulk, I think.
I'm the Hulk. Red Hulk.
Right.
And in this book, Spider-Man is working at a place called Horizon Labs, which is like this tech startup thing where like they just take brilliant minds and say like, here's all the resources you could ever want, go invent stuff, and that's what he's been up to.
Okay.
I loved meeting the Horizons gang.
I bet you liked Uatu.
I did. I frantically Googled. I was like, wait, is the Watcher somehow just like a human guy now? But in the story, his parents just love the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And so they named their son Uatu.
Sure.
We love that big-headed man on the moon.
Okay. It's convenient that he's also bald.
That's
Like-
true.
like
Do you think they
Uatu?
shave his head just to make him look like Uatu?
Yes.
Oh, God.
I think they wax his head.
I think
wax your son's
I
head.
think all babies kind of look like Uatu when they come out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You're
so they're
about to
like,
find out.
So they're like, well, I don't know, what does this baby look like? Oh, it looks like that giant space baby. He lives on the moon.
Oh yeah, of course.
Of course.
The one we all know.
That's how people name their babies, and they just like the baby comes out and they like, what do you look like?
The first thing that's why every baby is named Uatu.
These are my daughters, Galactus and Uatu.
So the story itself, as we were talking about earlier, is all about Doc Ock like speeding up global warming, the greenhouse effect. He speeds it up with satellites that are invisible.
Well, he created the Octavian lens.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in previous issues, I think he'd stolen a bunch of equipment, and they kind of like set this up
Yeah,
beforehand.
he stole stuff from like the Baxter Building and from Horizon Labs and all this other stuff.
Throughout time as well, right? It seemed like he had maybe time hopped and stolen some like future Stark tech and stuff.
That's
right?
possible.
Well,
Yeah.
it is weird that they're like, hey, we need to, I know we're gonna like speed up global warming in an instant and like fry the Earth for like a hot second. But we need to justify it. You know what I mean? We need to really lay the groundwork and like make this believable.
Yeah.
That is one nice thing about all the Dan Slott stuff is that he builds things up like 20 issues beforehand a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But then you'll get situations where like you're following this Octobot for like 8 issues and you're like, it's not doing anything. And then you're like, and then 20 issues later something will happen and you're like, oh, okay. That's why I read all that. All right.
Yeah.
That's a nice payoff for the fans.
It's something. It's nice
like
than
that.
just pulling something out of a hat, I guess.
So the whole idea behind the Octo lens, I think,
Octavian lens.
The Octavian lens, is that he can speed up the greenhouse effect and like burn the Earth, which he does for like a minute. Everyone on Earth is like fainting on the ground. Birds are dying. Everything terrible is happening, and then he just like shuts it off, and then he tells the world, hey, pay me some money, basically. Like later, the money comes into it later. Pay me some money, and I can reverse this effect anytime. I can save the world. I can give you a future. This is the year 2012.
And everything's gotten fixed since then.
Yes. Everything is fine. Nothing is wrong. There are not a million species about to be extinct.
Well, we need to get Elon Musk his own Elon Muskian lens, and no one will do it. So
Yeah, no. That makes sense.
that's the problem.
Yeah, I
Or
think we
maybe
should definitely.
pass like tax incentives and tough legislature. And
No, we need to punch Elon Musk in the head enough times until he's dying, and then he'll do this. But he'll hopefully be the good one.
But
instead
that's-
of the
I
bad
would
one.
like to see you try to punch Elon Musk in the
I
head.
would not. I would immediately get murdered.
Cage
He
fight.
probably has a lot of people with guns that like protect him.
Sure.
But that's the thing is that everyone believes Doc Ock immediately. He's like
Yeah, he
he's the
looks
one.
trustworthy.
Well, he's the one who burned the world,
Yeah.
and he's
That's
also
correct.
like been responsible for like probably tens, hundreds, maybe thousands of deaths like in previous years and years and years of comics.
And everyone's
Yeah,
just
yes.
so willing to be like, this guy, he can fix it.
Yeah. Well, you
Him
know what?
looking like more evil than ever too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this, okay, I bet he's nice now.
Well, at the same time, like if someone like if a supervillain, if Elon Musk, real life supervillain, came up and was like, "Hey, I've got a plan to like solve global warming with some satellites," I'd be like, "Fine."
It's kind of
Please
worth
just
rolling
do
the
it.
dice
Yeah.
at this point,
Yeah.
Like we're not gonna fix it otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
We need
Not
a
with that
crazy
attitude.
person.
So almost everyone else is on board except for the superheroes and especially Spider-Man, who's like, obviously, I know Doc Ock, and like you should all know him, but I know him especially well. And I know he's up to some shit. So that's why he like digs through his boxes, like puts on his new Spider-Man spider armor suit.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then he gets to say Avengers Assemble like 5 times in this book.
Because-
What did you think about the new Spider-Man suit? Like, it's cool to see them like every other few storylines. He has like 1 million suits. What did you think about this one?
I loved it. He was such like big, brolic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He was like big shoulder Spidey.
Yeah,
Which I like a skinny Spidey.
sure,
But I like a big Spidey too.
sure.
Okay, big boy Spidey.
He's a big boy Spidey. He looked so strong. He
Yeah.
looked like he could really, hold you in his arms and tell you that it's
Okay.
gonna be okay.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't really like. It's like much meaner. It's a much meaner suit. It looks like Deathstroke to me a little
Yeah,
bit.
it did.
Yeah.
It did look like Deathstroke. Yeah.
Which is fine because like every superhero costume and supervillain costume is like kind of like cribbed from Spider-Man a little bit here and there. Like Deathstroke kind of looks like Spider-Man also.
That's
Sure.
true.
Like reverse
That's
it a
true.
little bit. So it was nice to kind of see that. And he wears that suit throughout the book, and it looks a little bit different from artist to artist. But like that was kind of a cool suit. It's much different than like the big time suit or like the the classic black suit or anything like that. So
Big time.
I really like the spider armor suit, the white spider armor suit. That's like, I don't know, it looks like white chocolate, like cubes all over him. That's one of my faves. Anyway, so like they're having hearings all over the world, and like Spider-Man's like decked out his suit so it like has aspects to defeat like every member of the Sinister Six.
Yep.
So when Al Gore is on the stand in Congress saying like
next to Barack Obama,
he's saying like we should I believe in climate change and I believe in Dr. Octopus. Spider-Man just like punches Al Gore in the face, which is like a really great panel. And it turns out
that was a little unnecessary. Al Gore
was
does
going
not.
for
I
the
know
shock.
he wasn't. I know it was Chameleon.
Chameleon, yeah.
It was Chameleon.
But I don't think Al Gore needs to be punched in the face. The man is a hero.
Well, yeah, but they're showing this guy was trying to despoil the real Al Gore's name. He put him in a closet.
But he was still saying stuff that Al Gore would
I don't think Al Gore would say,
say
I need to trust Dr. Octopus.
that would be very surprising for Al Gore to
Dr. Octopus.
say.
I guess I didn't look at it that way as like a direct dig at Al Gore. I guess you could see it that way. But also this whole premise is predicated on the fact that climate change is real, which was still wildly controversial in 2012 when this comic was
blow up. I'm gonna explode.
All right.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the comic book land. Everything's fine. Everything's good.
We're gonna have an Octavian lens. Don't worry, Carolyn.
I'm hyperventilating.
Everything will be fine for another 3 years until the oceans boil.
Yeah, and then
we're literally
all live,
gonna pass out right now
on a beach in Iowa.
Yeah,
that's where beaches will be.
Yeah,
soon.
That's nice.
So,
what'll be on what? So that's the West Coast.
It'll be just a thin strip.
Just
It'll
Iowa.
be Iowa and maybe like Nebraska.
Okay,
and that'll be.
I'm hoping that the super volcano in the middle of the continental U.S., like the Yellowstone caldera, just fucking blows, and all of this is irrelevant.
Oh, I see.
anyways.
So it'll blow, and then it'll create more land on the other side. It'll like replace the coast that we're missing.
Yeah, and then
with
it'll
lava?
just black out the sun for a while anyways, and
Okay.
like most of life will go extinct anyways, and it'll be fine. And I'm gonna move to the moon with my boyfriend Uatu, the Watcher.
He has a really nice house up there. So
He does have a pretty
It's
sick
really nice
pad,
that
yeah.
you're taking that step
Thanks,
with
yeah.
Uatu.
We're very happy together.
Okay, that's nice.
He just holds me in the palm of his hand and like tosses me up in the air sometimes, and that's what we do for date night.
That's nice.
Fantastic. We should get on to like the actual storyline, which is like a big fight. There's
It's
a big fight
it's
between
like a
big.
big Michael Bay kind of
Yeah.
like a bunch of action all the time.
Please stop! Don't reference Michael Bay any more than this book already did.
They do say something is Michael Bay like, right?
A
Like
bunch
some
of
with
times.
Sandman maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Avengers and Sinister Six like get into a big fight, which is like a big fun, comic booky fight, except for like Dr. Octopus has like prepared for this and like basically has like a secret weapon for each a secret weapon for each individual member of the Avengers, and they're all taken down systematically for the most part. It's like, hey, Captain America, what's defeated you in the past? Ice. I'm gonna freeze you. And it's just like, it almost reminds me of like I don't know, like playing like cops and robbers like as a kid. It's like, hey, I just shot you. It's like, nuh-uh.
I got an anti-Tristan gun.
Yeah, I got an anti-Tristan gun. Well, I got an anti-Tristan gun armor on now. And so like keeps on going on before that. They have like gamma bullets. So what was it? Like the how they take down Red Hulk.
Yeah.
It's something like that.
It's a lot of
Gamma
stuff. I'm like,
juice.
Yeah, they get everyone except Black Widow.
they get everyone except for Black Widow, and Spider-Man is still there. And then they're all like basically like laid to waste. They're all defeated.
Yeah.
Spider-Man gets saved by Silver Sable,
Yep.
and so does Black Widow. So it's basically those three. For most of the rest of the book, there are other superheroes, but even though there's this global catastrophe, and just like all the superheroes, the major superheroes are gone except for Spider-Man.
Fantastic Four, they're off Earth or something.
Yeah.
X-Men are in space.
Yeah.
Where they
and I
belong.
think the Defenders are in like a different dimension or something. Like they mentioned at the beginning, like, hey, all the other superheroes are gone. Even though that's not even close to the number of superheroes in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Like
They should have called the Inhumans.
Well, they were on the moon, probably.
With Uatu.
Yeah.
They're waiting.
Yeah, we have sex parties with Inhumans.
Oh.
Wow.
It's weird.
That is weird. Well, this is just sort of a way to like this is a Spider-Man book and not an Avengers book. So they basically have to have a way to like have a global threat without having like the logical implications of like having a interconnected universe with all the other superheroes at the same time. So they're like, well, we need to knock them out. Well, let's do it in one issue. Ice, Gamma, and that's it.
And like plane crash.
Yeah.
I loved how much of this book was Spider-Man and Doc Ock being like, I'm more prepared. No, I'm more prepared.
Yeah,
no, I'm more prepared.
They're both trying to out Batman each other a little bit.
It reminded me of that Batman comic we read where he had like contingency plans for all the Justice League.
He was like, Tower of Babel.
Yeah, Tower of Babel.
Exactly. Yeah, that is kind of I see like that. It is funny like they hadn't like done this before. They hadn't tried to like out arms race like contingency planned each other before this point, right?
Not really. This is why I like Doc Ock so much as a villain, because he really is like Spider-Man's perfect opposite.
Because
like,
he has 8 arms and spiders have 8 arms,
that's
even though Spider-Man only has 2 arms.
Yeah.
And,
but like
and Spider-Man's a young like perky boy, and then Doc Ock is an old stumpy man.
Yeah, he's an old stumpy man, but they're both like weird emotional nerds who over prepare for shit.
Sure.
And can't like let things go very easily.
Yeah.
And so they're just nice matchups for each other, I think.
I do see like this doesn't like I feel like it doesn't play into the story enough, and this might be something like because this comic is like dead in the middle of like a long, super long storyline. Yeah. Spider-Man like goes to like a kind of a dark place because he starts being like pretty brutal and like he's trying to save
Sandman.
He's trying to save the world, so he basically exploits Sandman by like going up to fight him and saying like, oh, we need the soul grain.
That was a smart thing, I thought. Then they really hadn't established that with Sandman before.
Oh no,
like,
okay.
There's like just he does pull in sand from other areas, but he must have something that contains his essence somewhere.
A brain, basically.
Like something needs to be his essence, and like they're like, well, there's probably just one grain that's his essence, I guess.
He has one Horcrux, basically. That is one grain of sand.
He did the smart thing that Voldemort should have done, which is make his Horcrux a grain of sand.
Yeah, and just.
But it didn't work here, so maybe it's not a good idea.
So,
but then, like, he made one of his Horcruxes a snake. That was just a mortal snake.
That used to be a lady.
That used to be a lady now. But, like, regardless, like, that snake was going to die at some point, and then his Horcrux would be gone.
Lady snake.
Lady snake. Well, there's more to that story.
I love sand powers. I think they're just really, I don't know what it is about them. I think they're really cool. There's that.
It is cool.
There's an X-Man, like, Dust or something. That she's got really cool sand powers. I just think it's like it's so powerful. And they were saying like, oh, we could strand Sandman on a tropical island, but I was like, no. But then he could just travel on the bottom of the ocean through all the sand.
I think the water messes him up pretty bad. Like there used to be a thing where like they would make him all muddy or something.
Yeah.
It would mess him up.
He would sound like this. Mudman.
I do like any superhero thing that's like someone made out of something, like that bee guy. You know the bee guy?
I don't know the bee
guy. The guy who's made out of bees.
Swarm.
Made
out of
bees. He had a really cool flare card back in the day.
Yeah, and I think he's like the history of that character is like
he's like a Nazi. Yeah, he's a Nazi.
He
looks
Nazi made of
cool.
bees.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's
that's
like
pretty scary, yeah.
It is coming out with like the worst thing. Like it's a Nazi and he's made of bees. It's like, do we need anything else? No.
Is that
do you think that's where they went with it? Do you think they went like he's a Nazi? He's like, okay, we have
that's
those.
Pretty bad.
But he's made of bees. Oh no. Or do you think like he's made of bees? Oh, that's kind of weird. And he's a Nazi. Oh no. Where do you start? Where's the chicken and the egg?
I feel like it's Nazi. I feel like it's Nazi because that needs like in comics like Nazi like that's not enough. You need to have a red skull or something.
Yeah,
like, well, what if he was made completely of bees? Okay. If someone's made of bees, I feel like you're gonna stop there.
Bees are the Nazis of bugs, I think.
Wasps are Nazis of bugs.
Okay, that's fair. That's much. That's
Is he
much
made
better.
of wasps? He might have been made of wasps.
I think it might be like bees.
Just honeybees though. You think he makes honey?
Maybe
he shits out honey.
I don't know if they have like a hive or a
you think they
nest
pollinate
or whatnot.
Like flowers?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I need to talk about something very important.
Yes,
in
please.
this story, which was Black Widow
Yep.
is so hot.
Wow.
Like crazy hot. Like it took me longer to read this book than it should have because every time Black Widow would come on, I would just like stare at her for a while.
Like, but she's like not really like a presence in the book for that much. Like Silver Sable is a bigger deal.
Silver Sable is also hot, but Black Widow, I don't know. She really does it for me.
I've read a lot of Spider-Man.
Scarlett Johansson, get at me.
That artist, Humberto Ramos, he really is extremely horny. He is maybe one of the horniest artists I've ever seen.
Oh, yes.
And it definitely comes through with Black Widow. And she's not in the book, but whenever Black Cat is in a Spider-Man book, it does seem like the Spider-Man artists have a competition as to who can be hornier in drawing her. Like, that seems to be the consistent thing I've noticed. But yeah, they make Black Widow very pretty.
So hot. And Silver Sable is also hot. And then Spider-Man's just like, with his gal pals, like, saving the world.
Good platonic lady friends.
Yeah.
There does seem to be something like brewing between him and Silver Sable. And she's like, yeah, you know, we might die tomorrow. You know, I don't want to, you know. And he's like, actually, I'm waiting. I have Mary Jane. And she's like, her?
Her?
Didn't you sell that relationship to the devil?
Basically.
Yeah, you did.
And like Mary Jane's technically in this story, but like she's like in like 3 panels or
She's
something.
planning a party for Spider-Man.
She really believes in him. She's like, I know you got this, boo. I'm going to buy you a building.
Go into debt to buy a business.
Yeah.
Just for a party.
Yeah, why not?
That's real love.
It is real love. It is real love.
It's real love.
And she does become a nightclub owner after this.
That's
I'm
nice.
gonna read more in this series. That sounds fun.
She has a really nice nightclub, and it's good.
Perfect. Great. So in the meantime, like the world is kind of against Spider-Man because everyone sort of is on Doc Ock's side to save the Earth, essentially. For whatever reason, they all want to pay him off, and so his plan isn't like done yet. So like there are all a bunch of factories all around the world that are still building these satellites to nuke or save the world, I guess. Mm-hmm. And there's a bunch of like kind of like C-tier level heroes in different parts of the globe that we see. There's a Kangaroo 2 in Australia.
Yeah.
There's Big Hero 6.
Did not know that was in the Marvel universe until this arc.
Yeah,
their robot is not as balloon-like.
Yeah, they have a Baymax. It's like they have like Honey Lemon and like a lot of the same characters, but like they look wildly different. There's like the movie came out 2 years after this comic, and it's they're basically like unrecognizable compared to their Pixar Disney counterparts.
Oh, really? Disney didn't want to put a thong over a bodysuit for one of their characters?
There's a whole issue dedicated to like the Big Hero 6 thing, and they have some poses in that issue.
That was a different team who did that one.
Yes, it was a different writing team. I want to say like Brian Clevenger. I forgot the artist. I should have looked that up. But that seemed like it was like kind of like a one-off like side story. Like, and usually like in comics, like you have like a lot of these crossovers and stuff, and they're optional. But like in the graphic novel form, it's like just stuck right in the middle.
I had never read that. I read this story before. I've never read that issue.
Right.
That wasn't in the Amazing Spider-Man continuity, so I never read it.
And it doesn't feel necessary, and it's not by
No.
It can't be by design because like it's its own one-shot separate thing. It's not Spider-Man like 684 or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it ended up feeling like it really like stopped because like right when it comes into play right after we find the world burning.
Yeah.
And like
Symkaria.
Silver Sable's like home turf is like burning, and we are led to believe that Doc Ock has like turned on his like world destroying machine. Basically,
half the Earth has been just obliterated.
Right,
and then it's just special effects.
It does turn out to be special effects by Mysterio, who hired like 40 actors.
Yeah,
and like is putting on some pyrotechnics. He got some of the like the Universal Studios like backdraft attraction.
Yeah,
some of that stuff in there too.
Good backdraft reference.
Yeah.
All of these one shots kept in perfect Marvel tradition of replacing character development with accents and nationalities.
Yes.
Like the fucking Kangaroo Man, which was aesthetically incredibly offensive. Like, please don't show me that.
I'm saying he didn't have a little like Joey robot in his pouch. Who
That's
would, like be a friend to him.
That's a good point. I would have liked it
That
a lot
would have been
better
good.
if there had been like a mini version of him. But he's
a child.
drinking Fosters, which I've had friends, Aussie friends, tell me like they don't even drink.
Yeah,
that was
Also,
incredible.
what? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
It
I
did
thought
seem
that
like a
was
joke.
so like. That just left such a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Much like the real Fosters does.
Ooh, Foster's burn.
Fosters
Wow.
burn.
We're gonna lose that Foster sponsorship. Wow. Thanks a lot.
Oh, well,
Now we're sponsored by Bud Light Lime.
we could be sponsored by Sabra, who is the Israeli hero,
Right.
which is also a brand of hummus.
That's right.
It's true.
So we could do that.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, like, honestly, if you're reading this book at home, like, you could read it. Like, there's some like kind of like fun action in there, and like it's really wild to see like Big Hero 6 in like a form like that I've never seen before or since.
And you can
Yeah.
see Union Jack. I'm a British superhero, and I say bloody a lot. Oi, Britain, Union Jack. Oi. Union Jack's actually pretty cool. I would
outfit and
watch
stuff.
that movie. I would watch.
I'm
a Union
surprised they
Jack
didn't
movie.
go with like Captain Britain. He's like
Well, they
very
wanted to
cool.
go like all C-list, I guess. You know?
Yeah,
Like, Captain
yeah.
Britain is like, he's not A tier or anything, but he's not like Kangaroo.
He is
He's very powerful. He's Psylocke's brother.
It's true.
He's done a lot.
Before she had her mind put into an Asian woman and
Yes.
became
Oh.
Psylocke.
Spiritually.
Ooh.
Soul
Spiritually, the
soul
brothers.
brother and sister.
Yeah.
Soul
I wonder if we
siblings.
ever get to that, because I'd love to have someone really explain Psylocke to me.
I don't.
After I'll do it
Okay,
after this.
I'm excited to
Thanks.
get all the details.
I can just leave the room for that.
Okay.
You can
Alright,
go
that's
ahead.
fine.
So we basically kind of jump from that Mysterio. They kind of basically convinced Mysterio, hey, Dr. Octopus is actually going to blow up the world, so you're not going to have any money
have
that
a-
he's paying you.
A robot Dr. Octopus comes out, managed by Chameleon.
Right.
And tries to fight them. And then it gets messed up because Doc Ock doesn't like anyone impersonating him.
Sure.
And so he takes over and messes it all up.
That's
Yeah.
when it all fell apart for me. Like the first part half of this book, I was like, I'm on board.
Sure.
And then it was just like, I don't know. It fell apart then.
Much like Doc Ock's plan.
Much like Doc Ock's plan.
Well, that's what I like about Doc Ock is he is like this weird, arrogant, prideful, like dummy who
Mhm.
like constantly gets in the way of his own plans.
He's not really a dummy though. Like the number of geniuses in this story arc was so great.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was like, none of
yeah.
you have managed to think about or solve like climate change before this. No?
Yeah, it is crazy. Like there's like Reed Richards, Tony Stark, and Peter Parker are all like certified like ultra geniuses who
Yes.
can like
Right.
invent time travel casually. You know, Reed Richards gets interdimensional travel very casually invented at one point. And they can't figure out climate change.
Yeah.
Like climate change is just still a thing in this universe.
I mean, so is cancer, basically.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like there's
you
whole
think
storylines.
pin particles alone.
There's
would
whole
be like,
storylines about that. How like there are so many problems in the world, and superheroes only decide to use their great powers to fight crime. I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? To just be cops.
Right.
Spider-Man invented a chili ice box in this.
Oh, that's true.
and noise canceling headphones.
And noise canceling
which
headphones, which don't exist otherwise.
yeah, which we already have. A lot of people in this office have them
Mhm.
because we're secretly superheroes.
Exactly.
I've never seen you and Spider-Man in the same room at the same time.
No,
Just saying.
that's true. Spider-Man also has a big gut and looks really tired all the time. You ever notice that about Spider-Man?
Yes.
He's like really tired. He doesn't thwip anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
He's just
He just wants to lay down a lot.
All right.
All
We
right,
should
all
we should
right.
move on. We need to get it going here. Basically,
If
they
we
have
must.
the remaining Avengers. Basically, Spider-Man, Silver Sable, Mysterio is now
He's on the team.
deputized,
Yeah.
and Black Widow they all fight the Brainwashed Avengers, who all have like Octobots like conveniently on their neck.
Yeah.
You can just like flick them off a little bit, and then they're fine. So there's another bit like nice big like superhero fight in which they use like special like, tricks and stuff to like unbrainwash them.
Yeah.
There's we'll get to a fun little bit later, but basically Mysterio then gives them a spaceship to like go up to Doc Ock's like base.
It's underwater.
It's underwater.
Yeah.
Underwater base. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an underwater base. So he gives them one of the ships.
Right. One of the ships underwater. Water and space. Same thing.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically. That's why Silver Sable doesn't survive, quote unquote, when she is underwater. It's just like she's in space.
That's yeah.
I mean, there has to be stakes for these stories, and I understand, but like when Silver Sable was like, "Go, don't, Rhino is killing me, but like you should save the world instead." I'm just like, well, she's gonna live. Like,
I meant to Google this, and I feel a bit foolish for asking, but Rhino, what's his deal?
There was an arc, probably, I don't know, like 60 issues previously, where he had a wife, he was happy, he had stopped being the Rhino. And then there was a new Rhino who wanted to challenge him and kill him to like earn the mantle.
Classic
and
Rhino.
He was like,
stuff.
I don't want to fight you. And then the other Rhino killed his wife. And it was actually like a good issue. It was really sad. And then he became the Rhino again, and he killed that Rhino.
What's his power? Strength?
He's just like unbelievably strong and dense. Yeah. Although it might be his suit
I
sometimes.
want the suit, like,
Because
it's Paul Giamatti in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
The suit is fucking stupid looking.
It is stupid.
Like he looks like
'Cause
he's
it's like a
wearing a
skin-tight
footy
thing.
pajamas.
Well,
yeah. Like, it's not like a robot suit or anything where it's like, okay, I get how this gives you powers. It's just
Also,
like,
in no way is that a practical place for a human being to have a horn on their head.
No.
Put it
Yeah.
on your arms.
It is like one
he's
of those
staying
things
on
of like
theme.
Spider-Man. Like these are all like villains like created like a long time ago when all you had to do come up with a supervillain was just come up with an animal. Oh, we got a lizard, right? We got a chameleon. Let's throw a rhino in there as well. That sounds good, right?
Yeah,
Scorpions
rhinos are scary.
Scorpions as well. Let's do that.
They really do go animal themed.
With Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah,
There's actually
especially.
they do.
There's a big arc going on right now, all about Spider-Man's animal villains being hunted by Kraven.
Oh, fun.
So he wants to hunt all the animals.
Fun.
It's kind of fun.
It is kind of fun.
It's
yeah.
like a little Dr. Dolittle situation.
It's kind of nice.
See, I Spider-Man's great because it's like it can be so kind of silly,
Yeah.
but it never loses the like gravity of what's happening.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Like I agree with you, Tristan, that like, yeah, I knew Silver Sable is going to come back.
Sure.
We don't see a body, so
Right.
you know.
Right.
And you know that Spider-Man is going to somehow trick Dr. Octopus into like letting his guard down so he can just like destroy everything immediately and save the world from
he does
burning.
the Incredibles thing. He's like, get him monologuing, and
Get
then
him
he's
monologuing.
like,
Well, he convinces,
distract
he's
them.
like, hey, Doc Ock's plan is like, hey, I'm going to burn the world and only like 50,000 people are going to be left and they're all going to remember me as Super Hitler.
Yeah.
And that's his plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to leave a mark on the world,
Sure.
basically. Like he wants to be because like he is always like kind of like a second or third tier villain. You know, no one like takes him that seriously. And so this is his way of like, everyone's going to respect me. They'll fear me, but it'll be like a respect fear.
if I can't have life, no one else can have life except
Exactly.
for like a few people
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
who will just be around and like very sad
And in
in this
Spi-
scorched earth, except for all the humans in space. Which, like, if that actually happened, the Earth would just become repopulated with like the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and the Inhumans.
Oh yeah, there's
and
like
it would be
billions of aliens that all have like light speed travel. That could be like, oh well, we'll fix this place up. It's
Like, oh
fine.
yeah, Shi'ar will save us.
yeah.
The Shi'ar come back.
So, long story short, Spider-Man saves the world. He says, hey, you're actually going to fry the brains of the last few people on Earth, and they won't remember you because they will be brain dead. And he's like, what? And then it's over. And then the day is saved, and Spider-Man's very sad that Silver Sable is dead. And like 3 issues later, she's revealed to be alive, I think.
It was that fast?
I looked it
Wow.
up, and like Madam Web was like, "Hey, Silver Sable's not dead." He's like, "Oh, okay." So, but she didn't really come back to the comics until like 2017, which is interesting. She was in the Spider-Man video game. As well.
Yeah. I mean,
That
like,
was
Silver Sable, I think she's a cool character, but she doesn't get used very often.
No.
Like,
The arc, the flashback where they like talk about when they first met.
oh, with Doom and stuff?
Yeah, and that was so fucking out of place. I was
Yeah.
like, this is bizarre. And he's like, I thought she only cared about money. Just because she says like money a lot,
Sure.
the word money a lot.
She's a mercenary, so like that's her main deal. So like she is usually working for money, but yeah, like it did not seem to like fit too
Right.
well.
It was just so bizarre.
I like seeing Doom though. I always like seeing Dr.
Yeah,
Doom.
Doom's cool.
Doom's a pretty cool guy.
Doom's cool. And I also didn't love that part where it was like, "You will be my bride," and she's like, "Oh no, I can't. I need someone to save me from being his wife."
So it sounds like that wasn't your favorite part of the book, but we should talk about our panel picks, which are, our favorite, most memorable moments of the story.
Yeah, Tristan, what was yours?
Mine was the sequence during the first Avengers versus Sinister Six fight, where Thor is fighting Electro.
Yeah.
I get him and Shocker confused, but it is Electro. And
Electro can
like
turn into electricity.
And he uses comic book logic. He's like, well, Electro is lightning. I'm Thor. I have the lightning hammer, so I'm gonna suck you up into my hammer and shoot you into space.
Awesome.
It's
That's
like
cool.
It's cool and like ridiculous and like it's very silly in a comic book logic-y kind of way. And it's just like, I defeat you because I have anti-Tristan bullets.
Yeah. And but like also Electro doesn't come back the rest of the book. And so it's
he's just in space.
I don't know. I guess he's in space.
Is he
might
like,
be dead.
super gone? Because Thor's like, trouble Midgard no more.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's kind of if you're a lightning being and that's the god of lightning, you're kind of, you got to listen to that guy.
Electro does come back, but he does die later. And now there's a Lady Electro.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Lady Electro.
Yeah.
Andrew, what was your panel pick?
Kind of similarly, in the second Avengers versus Sinister Six fight, there's another fun moment with Thor. Doc Ock has like turned them all kind of evil,
Right.
But then he's like manually going into the brains of each one and kind of controlling them one by one. He starts with Spider-Woman.
Sure.
Then he moves on to a few others. And when he takes control of Thor, like he has total control over Thor's body as Dr. Octopus, and Thor's hammer like recognizes this is not Thor anymore. Therefore, whoever this is not worthy. And the hammer just thumps to the ground. He's like, "Oh no, that sucks." And it's another just a comic book logic thing.
It's always like the worthy stuff, like the Thor hammer, like logic and everything. Like we could talk for days about like what the deal is there.
Yeah,
You like it?
I know I like it. It's just very confusing. It's
like
like,
what are
it's
the actual
obviously
rules?
It's obviously not fingerprints. Like it's not a fingerprint scanner.
It's like a soul scanner.
Yeah.
A soul scanner.
It's like it can just like tell if you're a good time Charlie Man.
Okay. All
But
right.
I feel like a lot of people would be able to pick up the hammer.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Spider-Man should be able to pick up. Like what's wrong
sure.
about Spider-Man or whatever?
Spider-Man,
Captain
Wolverine.
America, Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine's like murdered a lot of people. I don't know.
But they are probably asking for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thor's killed a lot of people too.
Yeah.
Carolyn, your panel pick.
My panel pick was because Black Widow is super hot.
Okay.
So I chose this panel pick because you could see her cleavage.
All right.
I just thought it was fun, and like seeing the ladies teaming up with Spider-Man. Are these representations of women like realistic as bodies? No, they're not. Is there a man dressed up like a rhino in this comic book? Yes, there is. It's a fun good time, and it's silly fun, and I want a Black Widow poster in my room now.
That's fair. Would you recommend this book?
Oh, hell yeah. It was a great time. It was fun. It did make me think about climate change, which I think about anyways.
Sure.
And that's a sad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, call your senators and your governors and vote for pro-climate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and read this book.
Do those two things.
Wow, it's quite a checklist we've got here. Andrew, what about you? Spider-Man, Spidey head over here.
Yeah, it's like a fun book.
Sure.
It's like a nice, easy way I think to introduce people to maybe the world of Spider-Man because
Sure.
like, the Avengers are there. There's this big adventure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's super reflective of a lot of Spider-Man stuff
Yeah.
because like it is like very globe-trotting
Yeah.
and like almost James Bondy in a way
Sure.
that like Spider-Man usually isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man's more of like a soap opera more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a real fun, good time. It's a real easy read, and it like leads directly into Superior Spider-Man, which is my favorite Spider-Man thing. So, hey, yeah, start here.
Yeah. I would say this maybe is not the best place to start.
No,
It's
all right.
kind of right in the middle of everything. there's you can tell there's a lot of stuff beforehand and a lot of stuff afterwards. Like we talked about Superior Spider-Man. Also, not a great place to start because that's something I feel like you build up to. Yeah. I feel like if you're going to introduce someone to Spider-Man, just give them Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ultimate Spider-Man is good, or Big Time. Give them Big Time.
Start with the first Spider-Man. Start from the beginning. It's great. That's one of my favorite books. I love the original run. It's like the first 10 issues. It's so fun. They make you laugh. Classic Spidey. It's great.
Yeah, wheat cakes.
It's historical.
It's historical, and I think that's the interesting part to me. But it is tougher to if someone's like read any recent comics like this one. Like it's tougher to go back to those like super dense, like kind of like weirdly like plotted.
No, I think they hold up. I totally think they hold up.
I think
they're fun.
They're very like fascinating and interesting to me. But I feel like if it was just a Spider-Man fan like who's seen the movies off the street, I would want something a little bit more approachable. I think. Before they get into that, that's just me.
I disagree. I think they're very approachable and they totally hold up. They literally make me laugh out loud.
So you're gonna give them your copy of Amazing Spider-Man #1 just right away.
Yes, my original Mint condition copy that's in my apartment.
Okay, that's fair. So
I don't have one of those, by the way.
Yeah. Thank
Everyone
you.
rob Carolyn.
Please don't. I have nothing of value.
One. She has Amazing Fantasy 15 actually. So that about wraps up her time here today. Thank you so much for joining us, my panelists and folks at home. Next time we are reading The Legend of Wonder Woman Origins, Volume 1. I don't know if there's a Volume 2.
Only one way to find out.
Only one way to
watch the episode.
Yeah, we'll be sure to tell you all about it. But until then, we will see you in the funny papers. Hey everyone, if you like this, be sure to check out Dropout.tv. It's by far the best way to support Dorkly.
You can see this show a week early as well as other Dorkly shows like Today Nerd History and Table Pop.
There's other amazing Dropout shows like Paranoia, Dimension 20, Troopers. They're all great, and best of all, you can see them for free for a week. Go to Dropout.tv and get a week free trial and support your friends here at Dorkly.
Please.
Please support us.
Please.